Breaking, he knew. And he appointed him anyway. The Prime Minister just admitted something that should shake Westminster to its core. During today's heated Parliament session, he confirmed that official security vetting explicitly warned him about Peter Mandelson's ongoing relationship with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, and he gave him the job regardless. Let that sink in for a second. The vetting report flagged it. The questions were asked. Mandelson lied, repeatedly. And now there's a criminal investigation. If you want to stay informed as this story develops, subscribe to Britain Daily. We're covering what others won't touch. This wasn't a routine PMQS. The chamber had that rare electric tension, where everyone knows a career might end before the session's over. And when the opposition leader asked the question everyone was thinking, did the vetting mention Epstein? The PM paused, just long enough for the silence to become unbearable. Then he said it. Yes, it did. The room erupted. Because this isn't just about poor judgment. It's about a deliberate choice to overlook a relationship with one of the most notorious criminals in modern history. A man whose name is synonymous with abuse, power and cover-ups that reach the highest levels of society. And now, newly released documents from the United States have dragged this entire network back into the spotlight. Names, emails, flight logs, associations. Some proven, some alleged, all disturbing. And Peter Mandelson's name keeps appearing. Mandelson, the architect of New Labour, the strategist who shaped a generation of British politics, a man who's operated in the shadows of power for decades, now facing questions he can't spin his way out of. The Prime Minister tried to get ahead of it. He announced that Mandelson lied to his team. He expressed regret. He even said he's drafting legislation to strip Mandelson of his peerage and remove him from the Privy Council. But here's the problem. None of that answers the real question. If the vetting flagged Epstein, why did you appoint him in the first place? And that's where the defence starts to crumble. Because the PM admitted he was warned. He admitted questions were raised. Which means this wasn't ignorance. It was a calculated risk, one that's now blown up in spectacular fashion. Outside Parliament, the reaction is volcanic. Social media is flooded with screenshots of the documents, timelines of Mandelson's movements, demands for full disclosure. People are connecting dots faster than any official investigation ever could. And they're angry, because this taps into something deeper than one scandal. It's the growing realisation that there are two justice systems in this country. One for us, and one for them. When ordinary people make mistakes, they face consequences. Immediate, life-altering consequences. But when the powerful get caught in the orbit of someone like Epstein, they get titles, appointments, second chances. Until now, the PM promised to release the full vetting documentation to Parliament. That's significant, because once those documents are public, there's no controlling the narrative. Every lie Mandelson told will be on record. Every warning ignored will be in black and white. And that's when things could get truly dangerous for Downing Street. Because if more names surface, and sources suggest they will, this stops being about one disgraced peer. It becomes about institutional failure, about who else knew, who else was protected, who else lied. MPs were already leaning in during today's session. Opposition benches smelled blood. Even some on the government side looked uncomfortable. The kind of discomfort that leads to private conversations about leadership. This is how political crises metastasize. It starts with one revelation, then another. Then the drip becomes a flood. And suddenly, a Prime Minister who looked untouchable months ago is fighting for survival. The criminal investigation changes everything. Because now this isn't just political theatre. There are legal consequences on the table. And if investigators find that Mandelson wasn't just connected to Epstein, but actively misled authorities about it, the charges could be severe. Lying to government officials about national security matters. That's not a slap on the wrist. That's prison time. And here's what should terrify Downing Street. The public isn't waiting for the investigation to conclude. They've already made up their minds. The court of public opinion has rendered its verdict, and it's not favourable. Across Britain, people are asking the same questions. How did this happen? Who else is involved? And most importantly, what aren't we being told? Because every time a scandal like this breaks, there's always more beneath the surface. The names we see are just the ones who got caught. The real power players, they're still operating in the shadows. But those shadows are shrinking. With every document released, every question asked in Parliament, every investigative journalist digging deeper, the protective layers peel away. And what's underneath is rarely pretty. The next few weeks will be critical. If the PM releases those vetting documents as promised, and they show he ignored clear warnings, his position becomes untenable. If more names emerge from the US documents, this becomes a transatlantic scandal that no one can contain. And if the criminal investigation uncovers evidence of a broader cover-up, then we're not just talking about one cabinet resignation, we're talking about a reckoning. So where does this leave us? A prime minister damaged, a peer disgraced, a scandal that's only beginning to unfold, and a British public that's done accepting excuses from people who think they're above accountability. This story isn't over. It's just getting started. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think more names will be revealed? And if you want real-time updates as this explodes, subscribe to Britain Daily. We're just getting started.